Say it again.
Call this meeting to order at 7:12. Roll call.
Trevor Smith is on Zoom tonight. Bailey Weinman. Present. Terry Howard.
Here.
Josh Baker.
Here.
Andrew Lowry. And Jonathan Schaefer is absent. Mayor Coleman is present.
Here, in case you didn't hear me.
I didn't, but I knew you were there.
Me too.
Yeah, I got you too.
Okay, pledge the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, agenda consent. Approval of the agenda.
So move.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Josh, read the second.
yeah. Okay, first of all, I apologize for being late. I just made the crosstown from Ellicott in about 34 minutes, so that wasn't too bad. So,
Glad you're here in one piece.
yeah, didn't hit any deer or anything.
That's a good thing.
Holidays are coming. And that's kind of nice. We have a lot of things going on in the town. So we just need to make sure we keep up with them and keep moving forward. Any trustees have anything they'd like to share?
I have somebody who wants to donate a nativity scene, like a light up nativity scene. If
We
you guys
have
are
one.
all,
Is that the real nativity scene? I mean,
people standing there 24/7 live.
What?
No,
no, but critters, are they the ones that are doing the
I was
critters?
lighted, I'm confused.
no.
The critters?
No, this is like
That's
just a light one, but you said we have one? Oh, okay.
There was a request for one this year, so I got one.
Oh,
We're about a week late. It's okay.
Can you
Right.
return yours?
That would,
but we have one, so that's good.
yeah, that would be kind of cool. I was approached last year by a couple that said, oh yeah, we have animals and everything, and we'll put up a fence and we'll do this and we'll do that, so.
I mean, I could definitely get that together if that was something that we wanted on the day of.
That'd be kind of cool.
Cause I know where to get the mini critters. But of course, now I'm volunteering for something that they can't speak to, but I could ask about it.
Or you start bringing live animals and live people for that. You should come to our committee meeting, so we have that planned.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll put a
we
little
already have live
star.
animals coming.
Oh,
All
Guess I
right,
should
that's kind of
speak to
cool.
that.
Anybody else have anything they'd like to add to that? No other, town attorney? You on there, Ruth?
Yep, I don't have anything.
Okay,
I have a zoning code revision update that you requested I put on there.
zoning code revision update.
I don't see anything. Could that be where we spoke about how we're gonna piecemeal it to the board?
I'm not sure. Bruce?
Well, a couple of things. One is not only the board and the commission have been working hard on getting through that. And the last thing we have to review is the subdivision code. And so we met last week and decided to start sharing it with the board and phases. And also you'll see on the agenda that we'll discuss when it comes up about extending the moratorium in order to get all of this reviewed and approved in a timely manner. But, you know, it's really hard work, and everybody's been focused, and it's really time consuming for them. So we're getting there.
We are getting that. You're sad that boards in the past didn't think about keeping that up. No. Okay, snow plowing,
So we have found it more fruitful to go with contractors that currently are snow plowing the school grounds for snow plowing services this year. We did begin to have some applicants, but after speaking with the contracting company and negotiating with them to bring down their 4-hour minimum that they were looking for, they brought it down to a 1-hour minimum. They agreed to carry us on their insurance as an additional insured, and they will be keeping accurate records of where they're snow plowing, what times they're snow plowing, and if we run into an instance where we have a heavy snow and it requires them to come back and plow again, then they will do that. They will strictly be plowing 86 curb lines, east and west. They will be plowing Ute up to the second entrance of the fairgrounds and then back down. They will be plowing the little road that goes over to the school, elementary school, and then the road that goes from the fairgrounds up to our sewer plant. Keeping that clear all the time. So that's strictly what they're doing. Anything else in the town, Mendez will fill in and do. And Josh has graciously volunteered to help as well if needed throughout the year.
Are you gonna double his pay?
Josh doesn't get paid.
Well, give him
So
double
I'm
what
not
he's
using
making
him
now.
instead
And
of-
where all of you live, I will be stopping by for coffee.
Comp plan update, we're moving right along with that update. I spoke to them the end of last week. Should be wrapping up in February. They, despite not having very many people at that community engagement meeting, they were pleasantly happy with the feedback that they got from them, and the participation that they did get is what they expected. They said that's not uncommon, so they were not discouraged. We're looking at having another one probably beginning of January for the second one. See, grant update. For those of you that don't know, we were awarded the grant through DOLA for $750,000. That will go with our $500,000 that we received from CDOT. Let me back up. We were granted, let's see, $500,000, which is a match to CDOT's $500,000. To get the 1.25 million that we needed, we have to put in $250,000 out of our budget. That will be coming out of our ARPA funds that we've been holding in our money market account. We are under a requirement to spend that within the next, well, we were put under that requirement at the beginning of this year, and we're required to spend it within the next 2 years. So that will come out of that ARPA money to meet that match there. That will give us $1.5 million to go toward the design and engineering to get started on the storm drainage project. CDOT engineers, through their calculations, felt it was gonna take 2.5 million. We will just have to put it out for bid and look for a company that's willing to stay within our budget. I think $1.5 million is not chump change, so. And then I'm gonna add the Christmas event on here, since you mentioned it. I should give you guys an update on it. It is gonna be Saturday, December 2nd, from 3 to 7 o'clock here at Town Hall. My husband is gonna be dressed up as Santa again. There's no children listening. There is a local lady who rescues mini horses, and she is bringing one of her mini horses in to take pictures with Santa Claus. The Elbert County Fair royalty will also be on hand to help hand out treat bags that 40 Mile is putting together for the kids, and also take pictures with the kids. Rick will be doing the tree lighting. Terry is organizing the car parade this year, and we've gotten a few entries, quite a few entries, is my understanding.
Yes, we have 6 for
6
sure,
so far.
so.
I gotta get back a hold of the fire department. They did reach out to me yesterday via email.
Okay, I was gonna ask you if I needed to contact them or if you would. I have been in touch with,
Sheriff's Posse.
yes,
Okay,
an hour I was on the phone to them.
yeah. Farmer State Bank will be coming in with some Christmas cookies. And Dancing Jaguar will be serving coffee and hot cocoa. That's where we're at with it right now. So, any help you guys can offer, with anything would be greatly appreciated. That's all we got on that.
Microphone out there this year, set up, ready to rock,
We set up last year, ready to work.
because I'm getting tired of yelling, getting too old to
I feel
yell.
like that's a lie. That's just me.
Do we have a microphone?
Yes, we did. We have a couple of them. Rick's just been so successful without one.
I was gonna say, I have never seen you use. a
Oh,
microphone.
I forgot to mention to you, this year we will have live music during the event.
Yes.
The Some Sweet Day Quintet will be on hand. They have organized an Appalachian Christmas, program for the event, so they will be here doing under the overhang during the event. And that's it on that. Public Works, our auctioned equipment. You all know, we got rid of all of our surplus equipment. We were cut a check for $24,975, which will be put in restricted funds on our budget. You'll see that on our budget. Cause that's to be rolled back over as we promised into new equipment. There is one issue that some of you may have noticed if you pay attention to the shop. And that is, we have a blade that we sold for a little over $500. It has not been picked up yet. Been battling back and forth with them about getting over here to pick it up. They've not been real receptive to our encouragement. And contacting the auction company and letting them know and telling them that we have not been receptive to them. So the auction company reached out to me and I explained the situation, how many times Mendez has talked to them. I have told them we will not be having Mendez come in on his days off. And we will not, Sasha and I will not be driving in town on our days off to stand there and watch them load something up that sits outside the shop. So they have now been given a demand letter by the auction company and 15 days to remove the item, or the auction company will enact their policy and they will lose their money on it. So I don't know exactly what happens after that. I'll talk to the auction company tomorrow, but we did get an email today that notification went out to them. So that's the only piece of equipment that's left over there. Everything else has been picked up and moved, and Mendez has been cleaning them. And we have no code enforcement report until December. That's it.
No, approval of the minutes from October 10th.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign. Expenditures year to date. Have any glaring things that they want to bring up?
motion that we, approve the expenditures.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign. Okey-doke. Do we have any public comments? Anybody on the list?
No, sir.
Okay,
And no public hearings.
no public hearing. Okay, new business. 2024 town budget finalization.
Well, I think I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put finalization on there. We're still, this
Okay,
is the
so
draft that we went over
discuss.
yesterday. We need to finalize it next month. So we had a budget meeting yesterday. The 2003 end of year expected, our estimates and what we're expecting those to look like at the end of this year and what we're proposing for the budget for 2024. We did ask for an increase in some areas such as town events. We asked to increase that amount this year since we had some events that were successful and requests to carry them on next year. Let's see. We asked to increase the contributions and sponsorships. We had budgeted for $3,000. We ended up helping with about $5,900 this year. So I asked to bring that up to 6,000 and they met that request. We helped the school about 3 times this year, so that was good. We helped Baby Bear Hugs and the Historical Society and quite a few town events, that were held in our town. Some things we didn't spend as much this year. And next year I wasn't expecting to spend as much as we budgeted for this year. So I asked to bring that down some. Circumstances dictated us having an increase in those line items this year. Those circumstances won't exist next year. Any questions?
And then, court was highlighted, did everybody?
Oh, yeah, sorry, Bailey. Yeah, we did add in court to public safety. Because we have been in discussions about reinstating our municipal court. I only put $5,000 because we weren't talking about having it, but possibly every quarter. So we're not anticipating a whole bunch of costs associated with that. We do have a retired municipal court judge that I understand now lives in Elizabeth.
That's what I heard.
Yeah,
Don't
possibly
quote me.
lives in Elizabeth. Very nice gentleman. Need to complete discussions with him about him coming in and doing that with us. Susie's familiar with him. She works with him in a couple other municipalities. So, and Rick did call for reference on him and he comes highly recommended. So $5,000 there was added in. You will see the grants that we received added in here under grants. That's why the amounts are substantially higher next year. And then keep in mind that 250,000 will be going out from ARPA funds to meet those matches.
Any questions?
Which revenue figure did you use for KWW, just so that you changed it to?
Oh, for, what do you,
Because our contract will be more,
I put that in.
just so long as you get to add that to your thing.
That will go under general fund under contracted. Well, did I? Hold on.
I think you
I thought I
usually do it
did.
separate.
I did. Contract under other. KWWA operating agreement, page 1 for 66,000.
So you already changed it.
It's it. Sometimes I surprise myself.
Just realized though, when you said that, so did the grant, was we did not put the grant in the.
Oh, we need to add that in there. Yeah, because that's, it's gonna be, it's a revenue coming in.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
just so we'll, I just
So-
want to make sure.
Go ahead, Ruth.
Oh, I just wanted, could we maybe get a proposal or understand what the judge may charge? So, I mean, we would think maybe every other month we would have court.
Busy was thinking every quarter. She didn't feel we would have enough to hold it any sooner. But that is my plan, is to discuss with him, what that looks like, holding court every quarter and what his costs associated with that are.
That also, affects you guys again too. You and Sasha. To have court, just something to think about.
Well, it's not gonna be a reason not to have it, that's for sure. We've gone way too long,
without it, yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, but then there's a possibility for us to get fees from, you know, people as well,
Mhm.
hopefully,
We'll offset it.
yeah.
Well,
So,
So
Can I-
are we gonna see RFP on this then?
Say that again, Trevor?
Will we see the formal, like a request RFP on that?
Oh, he wants to know when we're gonna see a fee. You know,
Oh,
when
he
does
wants
it
an
come about?
RFP.
He wants a request for a proposal, I think is what he's asking.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm sure we can do that. And we could definitely do that. I don't know if it'll be a waste of, advertising or notification cost, for a $5,000 budget. So here's a problem we run into with RFPs, Trevor, when I put them out. We're Kiowa. We have 700 something people. People don't know where we're at in the Eastern Plains. Once they do find out where we're at, they don't want to drive all the way out here. Especially for something that's not paying an enormous amount of money, which is part of the problem we're having with finding a snowplow driver. So I could definitely, if that is you guys' request, I can put it out for RFP, but just know that there are costs associated with doing that. And there's a waiting period. But I can definitely do that if that's what you guys are asking me to do. Or I can contact the municipal court judge that Susie has worked with and recommends, and other entities recommend, and proceed from there and ask him to work within our $5,000 budget.
and I've talked to Susie about it too, and she made it seem like that is probably the better bet, like we're probably a lot closer than some of those other places. And he is retired, so he's kind of doing it to benefit us.
Yeah, he understands our unique situation.
Exactly.
Susie's had extensive conversations with him and told him we're actually at a point now where you guys are wanting to move forward to do it. And despite the fact that he's retired, he's willing to still come in and do this for us. And he's close by, so there's not a fear of him finding out where we're at and going, oh, I changed my mind. So that's just my 2 cents worth.
My personal opinion on it, we're not talking a whole ton of money. And if we've got the possibility of somebody willing to do it, my opinion is, let's go with it. My 2 cents.
Me too, because he comes highly recommended from people that everybody in here knows, so.
And that's fine, but here's the thing is, where's that threshold? Where's the threshold where we go, okay, it's $5,000 today, or it's a person for this deal today or for tomorrow. But where's our threshold? Where do we draw the line that, you know, once, if it's $5,100, is that when this goes to bid? I mean, and this is apples to oranges, I get this. But there was a zero-turn mower that the mayor and the previous administrator bought on a credit card that ran through this, that never went through anybody's, never ran on anybody's radar. So that is why I asked, you know, we're so diligent about processes, and we gotta have processes and have it right, have it this, and we gotta have rules, whether you're building a total shed on one end of Kiowa or building a deck. Where does this fall into that process? That's all I'm asking.
Sure, and I can answer that for you here real quickly. As soon as I get a copy of our financial policy we instituted 2 years ago that tells us at what threshold we need to be at to request an RFP. I don't go into that every day because we don't run into this every day, but we do have it in a written policy that you guys approved
If my
that
feeble
tells us
mind
when.
remembers correctly, I think it was anything over 5,000.
Okay,
So this is a while ago that there was like a fee schedule, and I don't know if that's.
there's a drafted fee schedule, suggested one.
I mean, if we could get something like that and then kind of see like the cases that are lingering from like when Susie does her stuff. And, you know, maybe not everybody is gonna pay, but we could kind of see like what sort of revenue might be coming in. Because then we can also, you know, reflect, hey, you know, these kind of people are gonna be paying X amount, and if not, then they go to court, cause not every single person is gonna go to court.
No, and the only person that could initiate those fees and make them pay those fees is a judge.
Right, but they'll receive a letter and they could pay it without going to court. So, I mean,
Yeah, that's the problem with it.
well,
Nothing's happening right now.
I know that, but
If you'll
I'm
excuse
just
me.
saying,
Yeah.
there are some people that
Excuse me
will
just a
do
second.
that. So if we like nail down what our fees, cause that's gonna be a thing too, is we have to look
Yep.
through all of that.
I was
Mhm.
just thinking about that court fees and costs. Actually, as long as the judge doesn't waive those, because he has a right to do that, but as long as he's mindful of court fees and costs, we should probably look at maybe what Elizabeth's doing and then look at adopting those fees and costs by resolution sooner than later.
Yeah,
Because as we update the code, we're gonna need to have that too, so. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
and I mean, I think that's another reason why Susie kind of recommended him, because he is fair on that sort of stuff. When you see somebody that's, you know, gets a letter every 3 months for the last 3 years, he might not waive those fees. He might say, yeah, this is what you owe, you gotta clean it up.
Mhm.
But then somebody who, you know, got something small, so on and so forth, so. I think that's
Yeah.
probably something that we'll have to look into in the near future, and that, you know, might differ on what the 5,000 is and whatnot.
So I don't have that financial policy readily available right now, and I apologize for that. I'll have to look at it tomorrow, but that will dictate how we handle it, Trevor. We don't put everything out to RFP. It has to, we actually instituted a policy that tells us where that trigger point's at. So I'll be able to send you guys an email tomorrow, let you know, what the financial policy is after I remind myself what it is.
You know, everybody good with that?
Yep.
Okay. New business, extension of the emergency moratorium.
So as we we're talking about before with the zoning and subdivision code update, we are almost finished with all of it. The last thing we need to review is the subdivision code. And at the last meeting of the Planning and Zoning Committee, they passed a motion recommending that we extend the emergency moratorium for 90 days. And so in order to do that, we would have to put it on the agenda and get your support for doing so. The primary goal of doing that is to ensure it's ready to go, it's going to be published, and it's in order.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the group?
I say we go for it. That allows us an additional 3 months, 90 days. Basically, because because I'm on the planning also. For us to start dwindling it down back to the board. Because you guys, we all are gonna have to approve it, yay or nay. And then get it published. And we might have it done by December. But we can't guarantee it. So that's why we're gonna go ahead and go with a 90-day extension. We can always pull that back. But that's gonna allow each one of us to read through it and then approve everything, each section.
And it doesn't hinder anything coming up at all, doing 90 days?
To the best of my knowledge, no.
Ruth, did you hear that question?
I don't know of any applications or anyone knocking at the door in Kiowa. Maybe you guys do.
Speak directly to her. I don't think she.
Just reiterating, it only affects somebody coming in and wanting to develop a subdivision. It does not affect anybody other than that.
Yeah.
Right, so we just approved a building permit for somebody this past month. So it didn't hurt them.
Right. We only at the time specifically noted the Historical Society, the school, and the Farmer State, because those are the only two significant ones we had going at the time we passed it. And we wanted to make sure they didn't get tied up somewhere or lost somewhere in
Right.
doing that. But it does clearly state that it only directly affects somebody wanting to develop subdivision.
That should be fine.
Yeah, everybody else is fine.
I agree with what Andy said, sitting in on the meetings. They are working very hard at it, and there's a lot that we're gonna have to look at once we get it. So if we've got where we can have it sent to us in, group, it'll give us time to be able to look through it and approve it.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to extend.
So moved.
We have a motion on the floor. We have a second.
No second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
The only thing that I would add, it will be on the agenda for our meeting in December because we need to revise the emergency ordinance at that time.
Okay,
Okay.
all those in favor?
Alright,
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, old business, operating agreement between the town and the Kiowa Water and Wastewater. Looks like we have a lot of blue and red and,
And a lot of this is, a lot of what you're gonna find is what we discussed in our work session back in July.
Right.
What we've all been waiting for is, those final numbers. And Debbie and I sat down and put our heads together today and, we made a list of what Debbie would like to include in this agreement and what is beneficial to the authority in keeping outside of the agreement and continuing to pay that separately. There also was some revisions that Debbie has, yeah, if you don't mind, that came up right before her meeting.
Yeah, so the water authorities made a motion, so if you will go, I don't know what page it is for you guys.
It's like, if you go to 2.9 is where you're going. It's
That's
all
where
red.
the B section
Yeah.
is.
and then 9 and 10 are gonna get added.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so if you will add on your copy, number 9. That would be, so these are ones that are directly paid with KWWA checks. That will remain being that way. So they're not included in our $5,500. So 9 will be core for the sewer plant and the water plant. We want to call those out. We've always paid those, always will. Number 10 would be anything that is water and sewer specific expenses. We think it's important to call out that those are still water and sewer expenses. So those things would be things like when chlorine gets ordered or anything that's specifically water and sewer that does not encompass the town was our suggestion. Now, our other concern, which we have asked and our board voted to approve with these changes, we were in total agreement to the fee and everything. We've set it up for there to be a credit card or debit card so that Sasha and Kim can access that to use it for the water authority, to keep those expenses separate. But there are expenses that are automatically billed to you guys that it really makes a mess for us to write a check back and forth. So we have taken those and added them to that fee. And we think it's important for any future boards, if we're not around, to call those out. So that somebody looks and says, well, what did this include? How did they come up with this? So Kim and Teresa, our board agreed that Kim and Teresa would work out the exact verbiage, but they already voted to approve it. That 50, we would list it that the 5,500 is inclusive of contract services, accounts payable, utilities at town hall, Phoenix Service Plan, Adobe, Zoom, copier, and the clerk position. So that it's very clear when we're not here that somebody knows how we did it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So otherwise, we think we've hammered it all out. The only other thing, we want to make sure that on the page that calls out the service area, that the county road and bridge building is included in that.
What page was that, Lynn?
You know, it's just, it says Exhibit B and it's a blank page.
Yeah.
So it's evidently supposed to be like the map of the service area. Way at the back. There is, it's in with the. I'll get you one.
Okay.
It's in with those water rights things. I know Matt drew one.
Okay.
So we'll just use that. Yeah, I knew, yeah. We just felt like that would clean it up.
Exhibit A is empty too.
Yeah, all of the exhibits are empty, none of those. We have an ORC scope of work that has to be added in there too. But one of the things, because if you just pick our service area as the town of Kiowa, the road and bridge building is outside the town. But it is part of our service area now because we've made an agreement.
Okay.
So that's the only reason I wanted it called out.
That makes sense.
But otherwise, I think we're all good and we finally got it figured out and.
So we can, with the changes, we can entertain the motion to approve.
Yes, sir.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second.
Yeah, what's the? Oh, yeah.
Is that cheering?
Yeah.
That is, I have no idea.
Have a motion and a second, any discussion with those changes as stated in the record? No discussion, all those in favor?
No.
Opposed, same sign?
Trevor, was that an I? I just saw you unmute and unmute.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Please pedal the water board. We need 2 positions filled, possibly
I
3.
heard a nasty rumor that you're retiring.
When you moved here, you signed your life away.
I feel like it. And I'm staying on the fire board until chief is done. So,
Has
Okay.
anybody at all even made the slightest? Not even. So now we need to pick
That's
people
right.
and abuse them, huh?
you guys really need to start pedaling it, try to get somebody to.
So we do have it out in the Ranchland News.
Yeah, I saw it on
We
Facebook.
have it on Facebook. Deb and I talked this morning, maybe I'll post it over to the post office on the notification board. A lot of people pay attention to that.
Mr. President, he's asleep back there, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Been a long day.
Yeah.
I had that long day. Okay, well, I hate to end all the fun and games, but we'll take a break just for a second and then we have to go into executive session. So, thank you for coming.
John, we would come back for adjourning. That's why I put it at the bottom, so you don't have to wait outside to come back in. You're welcome. Trevor, Ruth, I'm gonna close this one out. We'll go back into executive session later.